It was a beautiful sunny day when Beatrice found herself at the altar about to start on a life she did not want. Her heart belonged to Samuel, a simple and charming young man who worked at her family's house. But social customs and her parents' business interests pushed her to marry Thomas, a wealthy and prominent man. What awaited the young woman from that moment forward? Beatrice looked gorgeous in her white dress, which contrasted perfectly with the blue sky and strong sun that brightened the scene. Her lost stare conveyed the worry that filled her heart. She saw the guests' pleased and expectant expressions as they waited for the ceremony to begin. However, deep down, Beatrice felt like an actress on stage, performing a part that didn't fit her. As she held the elegantly placed bouquet of flowers in her hands, Beatrice experienced a range of conflicting feelings. The sensation of suffocation intensified with each passing instant. As Beatrice neared the altar, her sight met Samuel's, who was shrouded in the shadows, providing a beacon of hope in the gloom. Their souls came together for a brief moment, sharing the weight of the fate that hung heavily on their shoulders. But society, with its never-ending norms and expectations, had different plans for them. So under the bright sun, Beatrice took a deep breath and kept her cool, preparing to embark on a life she didn't want. Her tear-filled eyes veiled a flurry of emotions, yet her resolve was unwavering. Beatrice grew up in a privileged and abundant environment. She grew up in a privileged family surrounded by the comforts and opportunities that money could bring. Expensive toys, exotic trips, and opulent birthday celebrations were part of her daily routine. Despite all of her riches, she discovered true satisfaction in the simple act of playing with Samuel. Samuel was the son of loyal laborers who worked at the girl's family mansion. Beatrice and Samuel have had a particular bond since childhood. Together they explored the mansion's gardens, made up stories, and discovered secrets buried in the great hallways. Their laughing rang through the walls, infusing the room with true, unadulterated delight. As adolescence neared Beatrice's, parents began to doubt and restrict her association with Samuel. They were concerned that the family's closeness might have an impact on its position and reputation due to social disparities. They began pressuring Beatrice to mingle primarily with young people from her own socioeconomic level, whose families wielded similar influence and power. The camaraderie that was formerly permitted and fostered was abruptly curtailed, as if an invisible barrier had formed between them. Beatrice attempted to comprehend the abrupt change in her life as her parents' desire to create her, according to their conveniences and commercial interests, grew. Despite pressure and constraints, Beatrice and Samuel's bond stayed lit. They sought for covert opportunities to meet, share secrets and hopes, disregarding the walls that divided them. The narrative of Beatrice and Samuel was just beginning, and fate had more surprises and turns in store for the two young lovers. Beatrice and Thomas' marriage was the product of a well-planned scheme by her parents. Thomas, a professionally successful man 15 years older, represented not only a union of two persons, but also a vital link between the families and their business interests. The marriage was interpreted as a sign that the family's economic arrangements would be fulfilled. At the period, women suffered significant societal limits and prohibitions. Their aspirations and voices were frequently muted, and their lives were influenced by the expectations and decisions of the males around them. Beatrice was not immune to this fact. Her voice was muffled by social customs, and her personal will was regarded as subordinate to the family's wants and desires. This lack of autonomy and freedom of choice was a terrible reality for many women at the time. They were frequently used as negotiating chips, helping to cement deals and strengthen ties between powerful families. When Beatrice was 18, her parents were desperate to keep her away from Samuel. Beatrice was sent to another city to attend university. Her family felt that the distance would be enough to eradicate her love for Samuel. But they were mistaken. The young lover's love was too intense to be quenched. While Beatrice engaged herself in her studies and a new chapter of life, Samuel did not stop. He was a determined, clever, and hard-working young guy. He took advantage of every opportunity to gain new skills and broaden his horizons. This is how he started working as a carpenter in a friend's family workshop. Over time, Samuel gained knowledge and talents that made him desirable in higher social circles. Every coin Samuel made served a specific purpose in his mind. He utilized the money to get to the city where Beatrice was studying and meet her. He saved the rest of the money because he wanted to provide a modest future for the woman he loved. When Beatrice returned home after years of study, she was eager to reconnect with her family and resume her life. However, she was unaware that her parents had methodically planned her destiny, motivated by their own desires. Her parents had set up a route for her that would benefit their commercial and social interests. They envisioned a marriage alliance that would increase their power and prestige. The revelation of the truth rocked Beatrice to her core, leaving her feeling betrayed and disillusioned. Those who were supposed to watch after her health had betrayed her, turning her life into a piece in a game of interests. Despite his company's financial woes, Beatrice's father was anxiously looking for ways to keep the family firm afloat. In this delicate setting, Thomas emerged as a key character. He was a businessman who had recently inherited his father's conglomerate of firms, and Beatrice's parents' business appeared to be a promising chance. Thomas and Beatrice met during a party for the city's upper class. She exuded fascinating beauty and purity, which drew him in right away. Thomas, who was accustomed to having whatever he desired, saw Beatrice as a rare diamond that he could not pass up. Motivated by Beatrice's undeniable charm, Thomas swiftly made commercial deals with her father contingent on marrying her. He saw this marriage as an opportunity to not only expand his commercial contacts, but also to have a beautiful and charming woman by his side. In an era when the fate of women was mercilessly chosen by others, Beatrice's father agreed to Thomas's proposal. He sealed the pact with a handshake as if it were a business transaction condemning his daughter to a brutally planned fate. The handshake, which may represent friendliness and cooperation, became a sentence. It was as if Beatrice had been sold as a precious commodity in a terrible market, and her freedom had been irrevocably lost. The wedding date was promptly set as part of the mutual agreement between the families. Thomas Beatrice's fiancé had purchased an exquisite mansion and planned to build his home alongside her. To make some renovations to the house, he decided to engage Samuel, a highly recommended carpenter by his friends. Thomas, unaware of Samuel's deep emotional attachment with his future wife, encouraged the excellent carpenter to work on the house. Beatrice and Samuel continued to meet secretly. Their love grew stronger as a result of their mutual suffering and revolt. When Samuel learned the deal that sealed Beatrice's marriage, he was furious. He refused to accept the situation quietly, knowing he could not let Beatrice's fate be chosen in such a way. Despite intense debates and moments of despair, Beatrice and Samuel determined to find a solution to the impending wedding date deadlock. Samuel continued working on Thomas's house, unaware that he was actually refurbishing Beatrice's future home. One day, he was finishing up some touches on his job when Thomas and a buddy entered the house and began discussing the homeowner's upcoming wedding. The friend questioned whether Thomas would ever settle down with the marriage, as he did not believe Thomas was a one-woman man. So he mockingly replied, "Beatrice is a beautiful, intelligent, and charming woman. She will become my trophy. It will be lovely to show her out at parties and social gatherings, but I will still have my adventures after all. I may choose any woman I choose." At that point, Samuel realized that this was the man who was stealing the lady he love's aspirations, and he also understood that her future would be unhappy with a man who would not respect her. Samuel grasped the need of intervening to save Beatrice from the terrible tragedy that awaited her. Thomas's statements made it plain that he had no intention of remaining devoted and dedicated to his future wife. Beatrice would be only an ornament in his life as he pursued his wants and love escapades. That night, Samuel and Beatrice met in a private location, away from prying eyes. Samuel, driving his old car, invited Beatrice for a special journey, promising her a surprise that could alter the path of their lives. Samuel stopped his car in a wooden hut after a long drive. As they entered the wooden cabin near the water, Beatrice was engulfed in a sense of elegance and tranquility. The kitchen's delicately made wood radiated a sense of comfort and warmth. The meticulously carved decorations on the main bed's headboard displayed an artist's ability and attention to beauty and precision. In that wooden shelter, the cabin served as more than simply a retreat. Samuel's hard work paid off, demonstrating his dedication and talent as a carpenter. Each piece, each precisely carved detail reflected his love for Beatrice and his intention to create a future together. There in that cabin, they would discover a beginning that would break free from the constraints of corporate agreements, a beginning where true love and authenticity might thrive. Samuel had built more than just a house. He had created a home where they could embrace and share a life of freedom and happiness. Beatrice, let us depart together. I may not have worldly wealth to offer you, but I do have unwavering love and a resolve to pursue your happiness. Allow me to guide you into a world where true love and freedom are the foundations that support our trip. Samuel tenderly caressed Beatrice's face, conveying a mixture of love and understanding. He realized that at that point it was critical to let Beatrice to ponder and make her own choices. Beatrice, my dear, I understand the confusion you are experiencing. I understand this is a difficult decision. Know that I shall be patient and dedicated to awaiting your response. Your pleasure is my biggest desire. The days passed quickly, and the wedding day had arrived. Beatrice had accepted the fate that her parents had planned for her, rejecting her heart's profound longings and the intense bond she shared with Samuel. Beatrice moved slowly down the church aisle, her bridal gown fluttering to the beat of her rapid breathing. As she approached the altar, she urgently looked for Samuel's gaze in the crowd. Then it occurred. Their eyes met like two beacons in the darkness. Beatrice's heart soared with courage, as if the entire cosmos had conspired in her favor at that critical moment. Beatrice moved her glance away from Samuel and onto her father's eyes, the man who had always served as a source of authority and control in her life. She approached him, her breathing quick, and murmured in his ear, strangled with emotion, "I'm sorry, Dad, but I can't do this. I need to follow my heart." Beatrice's comments rang in her father's ears, who was taken aback and perplexed by his daughter's fearlessness. The guests, surprised and bewildered, watched the event unfold in front of them. Without looking back, Beatrice took a decision that altered her fate. She dashed towards the church entrance, abandoning all the traditions and expectations that had been placed on her. As she ran, a sense of liberation permeated every fiber of her existence. She felt a mix of anxiety and excitement, but most of all, she was confident that she was on the correct road. The visitors were astonished and unable to fathom what had just occurred. Despite the misunderstanding, several people admired Beatrice's bravery in putting her own happiness first. Samuel's heart was filled with hope and love as he witnessed Beatrice's fortitude and commitment. Without hesitation, he chose to follow his instincts and rush to the door, joining Beatrice in her daring escape. As their gazes met, they realized they were embarking on an uncertain journey, fraught with difficulties and obstacles. However, the confidence of the love they shared outweighed any dread that threatened them. Hand in hand, they walked through the door, leaving behind the marriage and all of the expectations placed on them. Each step they took was a confirmation of their commitment to find true pleasure apart from the shackles that bound them. As they ran side by side, the fresh breeze caressed their faces as if destiny was smiling on them. They felt a sense of liberation, excitement, and relief as they realized they were taking control of their own lives and enjoying the love that belonged to them. They would confront the problems that emerged on their journey together, relying on the strength of their love and commitment to create an authentic and joyful future. If you loved it, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with a rating from 1 to 5 to tell us how much you like the story. Also, watch the video that is currently displayed on your screen. See you shortly.